Hello everyone, welcome back to the Football Uncensored podcast. Round two for John and I this evening. If you're watching these consecutively as well, thank you very much. Support very much appreciated. We spoke at the end of the last episode, I'm going to take my bins off, about our Chelsea now in the title race, and you mentioned the way Maresca's handling it with the press and trying to play down the pressure, etc. We spoke about City as well. We'll come back to City as well in this one if we've got time. But the other two, the other two teams up there, Liverpool and Arsenal, not the greatest of results at the weekend for them. So we're going to talk a little bit about Arsenal, Everton first, which of course finished 0-0. There's a couple of tactical points you wanted to pick up on there, John, I think, regards the Arsenal.
Yeah, well, the thing with I mean Pickford played very well. Made a couple of I think probably just the one really outstanding save, which I think tells you everything you need to know about the game. Um, Not the normal amount of goal t attempts you'd associate with Arsenal, and I think that can be put down to a couple of things. Of Everton were very organised, very dogged and determined. I see a lot of occasions where they're retreated. Um, Almost to the edge of their own box. But I thought there were times when Arsenal's build-up was too contrived, too slow, too deliberate, and they never moved the ball quickly enough. That's my take on it. Because on paper, really, they should be. One assumes they should be going over the last couple of years. And there's people on social media today calling for Arteta's head again, which, which is ridiculous. But
Yeah.
aside from the
That's,
fact he's done a a decent job, he's got them playing a certain style of football, and he's reinvigorated the playing style of the club and they brought the togetherness with the players and FA Cup early doors when he first took over. Um, you know, who did they replace him with?
well, yeah, I mean, who are you going to go and get
I
if
think I
you,
think he loves the club, Rob. I think he loves
yeah,
the club.
yeah, I think that much is very clear. But I mean, well, I can't be sure coherent sentence together to answer that point that people are calling for his head because
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they had a 0-0 at the weekend.
a blip.
They're
Yeah,
still what three? Oh, that's it. There's 6 points. I mean, so there's only three ahead of City, who we spoke about last time,
yeah,
but there's still six behind Liverpool. But two wins,
catchable. It's
very
doable. Yeah,
very
there'll be
catchable.
there'll be a lot of twists and turns. I tell you,
I'm sure they've got to play each other as well. Again,
yeah,
Arsenal,
between
Liverpool,
now and May there'll be a lot of twists and turns.
but. Yeah, that's crazy. One bit I did read about, and I'm guessing probably because they Pickford didn't have a save to make bar one, and Arsenal obviously didn't score. The narrative about Arsenal lacking a striker or proper centre forwards, I think, has been bandied about a little bit again in a couple of papers today
I've said
that
it
I looked
numerous
at.
times on here. They can't keep expecting him to perform miracles. They ain't got an out and out 20 goal a season man, 20 25 goal a season man. If they had an out and out focal point in terms of everything, presence, establishing possession, and also predatory in the box, then they'd have run away with it last year, probably the year before. But I've been saying it. I've been saying it for quite a few seasons, and I don't think neither of them are the answer. Otherwise, they wouldn't play. They'd have played. They'd have played him. Jesus has had his injury problem, but he ain't played him. And Sterling, that jumps out of me. You know what I mean?
God, he was even there.
Well, yeah, he's the type he can make something happen. He can induce a rash challenge, a bit of panic, an overload with his pace and trickery. You know what I mean? Someone to come across to protect someone, which will leave an overload elsewhere. Um, yeah, they've been crying out. They've been crying out, but they're few and far between, aren't they? What you've got to do is look for the similar types of deals that other clubs have had, where they can nick someone. They've probably got to pay over the odds. It's been proven maybe a couple of times. Man United springs to mind. Um, maybe even the Spurs one. The guy from Bournemouth, who I've been singing his praises. I like him a lot because it's what he contributes around the pitch as well. Solanke.
Yeah,
Um, they've got to look for something because
I'm still
it's just too light up front.
yeah, I'm still baffled they didn't try and get Ivan Toney. I'm sure obviously they had their reasons, probably financial, age, or maybe whether his with his little bit of naughtiness on the betting, they wanted to avoid him. I don't know, but from a
Yeah,
pure supporters um, eyes, not an Arsenal supporter, but a football supporter, just to stress, it still baffles me they didn't go for Ivan Toney. He
mm.
ticks all those boxes for me that you've just listed.
Yeah.
Uh,
It might have been a few reasons, but you never know. Yeah, it's like I always say, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors with regards to decisions,
yeah,
and goings on.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So Arsenal weren't the only title contender to drop points again at the weekend. Liverpool drew 2-2 with Fulham.
Mm.
So yeah, 2 points dropped there. Their lead, I think, when we recorded a couple of weeks ago, they were about 9 points clear of everybody. That's and now, as we touched on last time, they're only two clear of Chelsea. So they've been whittled down the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anyone call for Arne Slot's head yet though, because they've had a very, very mini wobble of a couple of draws, I think. Nothing silly like that. But again, they would have been expected to beat Fulham at Anfield, just as Arsenal would have been expected to beat Everton at the Emirates. What did you make of their game, John? I was assuming you've seen it on Match of the Day.
Well, I think first of all, he's done a fantastic job there at Fulham. He's assembled a decent squad. They've got some quality, and I think a lot of raw honesty. And what strikes me on most occasions is the spirit. And I thought probably see it. They'll see it as 2 points drop because Liverpool down to 10 men. Some could argue that was harsh. Um, from being a player and being inside a player's head that that's probably a bit of like professional foul forward slash gamesmanship. The sort of entanglement. It's an accident, not really an accident. Um, yeah, so I think they'll see it as 2 points dropped, and Liverpool see it as point rescued. It's quite marvellous, really. With down to 10 men, they still nick a draw, albeit at
Yeah.
home. But yeah, it's tough, and especially with the amount of pace and power they've got. Fulham likes of Traore. Um, they've got the boy from Arsenal. Couple of ex-Arsenal players, Iwobi and who's the other one? The fair-haired kid,
Smith Rowe.
Smith Rowe. Yeah, yeah, they've got him. He's settled in well. Yeah, and they look like the back. There's a few players that look like they mean it.
Yeah, good to watch for them. I've seen a few of their games and agree he's done a solid job. I think they're up to seventh or eighth, and I've
Yeah,
been to be in fairness to them, they've been round about that upper mid table since the start of the season.
yeah,
Yeah, point. I'd see it as a point gain for Liverpool. They played, I think, about three quarters of the game without
yeah,
Andy Robertson, who was sent off for the professional foul, as you called it. I've seen that debated today
yeah,
on Sky Sports News with the pundits and the ex-referee, uh, Dermot Gallagher, I think, isn't it? He
yeah.
does a bit on there every Monday.
If he don't get there, the Fulham forward gets across him, and then he can't catch him.
Yeah,
So he's got to get there and get like, meshed up with him, and
well, he's certainly got him.
take one for the team.
Yeah, he certainly got him all right, but um, City. Let's go back to City. I know we did cover a fair bit. I agree with you. I would not rule them out of the title race. I know it's 9 points behind Liverpool. That's got to be three wins for City, and Liverpool got to lose the three as well. It's not just about City winning them, so it's not quite as simple as it sounds. But
Yeah,
definitely wouldn't rule them out. But as you started to talk about, there's a lot going wrong for them at the moment, and no real obvious sign of Guardiola turning it around.
Yeah, he's got to, like you said, he's the one that's got to find the solution. Um, like as you know, I never ever subscribed to his tongue-in-cheek, upside down, back to front Mickey take, piss take out of other people with regards to defending with the ball, defending when you got the ball, because you know it's obviously his philosophy because it's the case is proven over the weekend. They've relied on instead of like our turn, your turn, the game ebbing and flowing and then defending well to get the ball back. He's said that he's a believer in being able to defend with the ball when you've got the ball, as in possession, whereas I've said um, he left out the other bit, which is when you've got the ball, you've got to look to be strike, you've got to look to be incisive, you've got to look to uh, penetrate, you've got to look for a weakness and target it and create a goal scoring opportunity at every available opportunity. So I don't subscribe to that, but it quite clearly it's shown the fact that the gaps are too big and there's no support for the people on the ball, or there didn't appear to be yesterday. People were getting crowded out. The numbers were sparse, twos and threes. Individuals clearing it or individuals looking for a play instead of the normal group of 4 or 5 around it. They couldn't keep it, and they've showed quite clearly that when they can't keep it, they can't defend, which is like a bit brutal, but brutally honest. Yeah, it's brutal but honest. If you look at the two goals again, and I'm talking not just the actual, like maybe the pass and the execution, I'm talking about everything around it. There's so much wrong. There's so many gaps, so many people not doing their job, so many people not closing the ball down, so many people being indecisive. There's uh, no communication. Um, even for the penalty, it was so sloppy. Um, just tell him, if you're going to set him up when Walker plays it to him, just say, "Dude, go long." You can boss him and make his decision for him. Um, he's facing his own goal. He underhits it, and then he go. The guy cuts across him, checks back. He makes the recovery run, takes him, leaves his foot in as he's coming round him, and as he's checked back, it's took his legs away. Um,
Yeah, pretty stonewall.
yeah, it was Stonewall penalty. There was so much wrong with it. You know what I mean? Just when he plays it, just get it out your feet and look forward. Well, maybe they stop doing that. They could pass him for the sake of passing, and this one was an under it, poor back pass that got penalised. But sticking to the main thing, which is about defending with the ball, they've shown that if they're not stringing two passes together and it's breaking down, then when the ball changes hands, they've shown that they couldn't defend. So that needs to be worked on. Anyway, you're talking about supposedly, allegedly, with one of the greatest coaches in the game. That's the greatest coaches has ever lived. Who's had been able to handpick his players. So I think they should be able to turn it around.
They should be able to turn it around yet, but it's completely unknown territory for Guardiola, isn't it? In terms of the run of results. So, as you say, one of, if not the best coach in the world. That's the way he's regarded anyway. Time to see what he's made of.
Yeah,
Oh, isn't it really? You mentioned off air that City, basically everything's going wrong for them at the moment. It's a complete.
yeah,
It's not just the defending, which you've highlighted, obviously. It's everywhere on the pitch. Everything is and off the pitch just gone wrong at the same time, and
yeah.
you don't have to
Injuries.
be a genius to figure out
Yeah,
what that's going to cause.
yeah. The normal support for the man on the ball, the normal pressing, the normal energy, the normal things, everything done at pace. It's none of the above. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. If, like I said in the earlier episode, if he turns it round and they get another title, um, I think it'd be the biggest accomplishment out of all the titles he's won here.
Yeah, that'll be an absolutely hats off moment, and normally don't agree with him getting manager of the year. I like to, I'd like it to go to like an overachiever, and potentially if he does recover this one around, that might be a class of overachievement.
Yeah.
Um, moving on to another club we haven't spoke about yet, who are also very good to watch, certainly for neutrals in terms of goals in their games, is Brentford.
Right.
It's just a curiosity to me. I want to ask you, as obviously the professional, the manager, and the player. This will sound a really probably sound a stupid question, but their home record and their away record are the complete mirror opposites in terms of wins and draws. They played eight home and away, seven wins and a draw at home, and seven defeats and a draw away.
Mm.
They've scored, I think they're the top scorers in the division bar, maybe Chelsea or another club. Certainly the
Yeah.
top scorers at home, but away they can't do a thing.
Yeah.
So apart from the fact you've got the majority of the fans in the ground, it's your familiar territory. What's the fundamental difference as a player point of view from a home game and an away game? Because it's still 11v11 on a bit of grass, isn't it?
Well, there's more than one fundamental difference. You probably some would say you're asking the wrong person because I never won enough games. But then there was off the field stuff and the fact that we had no competition for places and only 15 players. Maybe come into it, we relied too heavily on one person to score, which was Colin West. Weren't enough of a goal threat from other areas, and then individual mistakes, collective mistakes, as in a back three or a back four. Back three springs to mind. Away at Oxford, 1-0 down, pulled it back to 1-1, took a 2-1 lead, ended up getting beat 3-2 in the last minute, about 95th minute, where the back three, Pearce, Bellamy, and Howard all got caught square. Where playing sweep is all about gauging your depth. Any type of defending. When to go in, when to drop off. Um, with the question in mind, it could be a mental thing. I haven't been there personally, but I've played in teams that have under Eustace. I think we lost 7 and drew 1, something like that, or lost 6 and drew 1. There were a couple of horrendous runs, which led to me getting the sack as a player under Eustace and Clark, because I was asked what I thought the problem was on club call, and I said probably quite strongly that the age-old thing of not earning the right to play. We weren't up for a battle in terms of earning the right to play. We crumbled too easily. Players were ducking out of challenges. I named them. I named them in my book. Um, we had one warrior in there who helped the back four out. That was Stevie Castle. Um, no one really stopping the ball coming forward up front. You know, very languid, sanguine centre forward. So if you're going out there and you're playing 11 against 6 or 6 against 11, so the back four, the goalkeeper and Stevie Castle, you're on a sticky wicket to begin with. It could be a mentality thing. Um, if I could have, so that's the playing side. It could be a mental weakness. Okay. Um, Me personally, as I matured, but even when I was a kid, I didn't really take much notice of the fact that it was away. I mean, I
Hmm.
remember chopping Peter With down at Newcastle when I come on at half time as sub. 40,000 Geordies wanted to lynch me because he was about to break away and try and get his hat trick. And I come on when we was 2-0 down and I thought, well, he's not getting a third. Um, and you heard him, believe me, you heard him. But um, away at Norwich, away at Bolton, away at Arsenal, away at Man United. I played in all them, and really and truly, your concentration should be such that it, you shut yourself off from it. You understand? All you all you're concentrating on is the immediate vicinity, which is the pitch, the goings on the pitch.
Yeah.
There could be a mental thing where people they're playing away and they're affected by that, but I doubt it at that level. Therefore, that brings me to the coaching and management side. If I could have my time again, even with a limited amount of players, it keeps it A, fresh, and B, puts a new perspective on things for the players in terms of mental alertness and then being tactically adaptable. I would maybe have changed formations more often. So it might be down to the way they set up. It might be the way it might be one of these. Um, I don't doubt for a minute that he's tactically adaptable and the players are, but it might just be that stubbornness like there that's the Southampton guy of wanting to play a certain way, um, and it's not happening for them. So
Mm.
maybe think about setting up differently. Because if I could have my time again, remember a conversation with an ex-manager I played under who worked with Al Wilkinson, and he said that we might have to, when he was his time at Leeds, they were a bit flaky at the start of some of it, and they were looking to blitz through and get back in the Premier League or the old First Division. No, it was the Premier League. I think it was called the Premiership at the time, the one where they pipped United
Your league.
in the league, right? So, but the season before that, and he said it might be a case of picking two different teams, one for at home and one for away. Um, and then the cream rises to the top,
Yeah.
if you understand what I mean. So if you're away, you might have to be dogged and determined, a war of attrition, enjoy defending, bring it on. I'm going to be here all day long. I'm not going anywhere. And then that's one way of achieving a result and grinding the opposition down. And then maybe bring players on towards the end with a bit more creativity. But it might be the shape. Yeah, it could be a number of things. But they've got yeah, it's not probably. What did you? Is that right? The best, one of the best home records and the worst away record.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
exactly that, and it's the
yeah.
complete mirror image.
Well,
Just
that was unlucky yesterday. I mean, it's poor execution, the one that hit the bar. You
yeah,
know what I mean? It was harder not to score. So could have got a point out of it. The other one was, he's obviously it's all hands to the deck and all hands on deck, and if Chelsea have hit him with a breakaway, the kid's got blistering pace and finished to get the other one, Jackson to get the last one. Um, but they was well in it before then.
mm,
Having said that, Chelsea were due a win against them. I think they hadn't won at home to Brentford in 5, 6, 7 games.
all right.
Yeah,
Uh,
so that it was and he was quite philosophical. He said that maybe that's a sign of how far we've come. To try and take the sting out of the result for the players. With the fact that like Chelsea players were rejoicing at the end and celebrating at the end that they beat Brentford at the Bridge. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I was just reading it earlier on. It just struck me as a very very odd, or not odd, but you know what I mean. Just
yeah,
an unusual little stat. And having watched Brentford play this season, they do seem to be a little bit of a we're going to score one more than you
yeah.
team, and then perhaps that's just the way it's bounced when they played away. They've come on the wrong end of that. Who knows? Yeah, it just struck me as odd. Just wanted to hear
It
your
might
take
it,
on it as
it
someone
might
who's
be
stepped across the
yeah.
white lines.
So, well, the thing is, well, like I said, it could be a lot of different things, not rather than one fundamental thing. But then going back to that, it could be just be the fact that he thinks that it might be best if he doesn't pull players here and there and give them too many
Yeah,
variables, because there's already enough variables in football, more than any other sport. So, it might be they're comfortable with a set way of playing and it's worked at home, but we're going to stick with it away regardless. Whereas maybe it might be a case of setting up slightly differently, you
we'll
know?
see how the season develops. Last couple of minutes already, unbelievably. So,
Okay,
just quickly, the World Cup qualifying draw was this week for. I can't remember which where the next tournament is. I think it's the States, Canada, and Mexico or something ridiculous like that.
that's right.
England have got, I think it's Serbia, Kosovo, Latvia, and Andorra.
Hmm. So
So
another buy
yeah, I mean,
all the way back to Capello. Odds
I mean,
of
what value are they going to get out? I mean,
Sven.
yeah, obviously you want to qualify, so
Yeah,
you're getting that value out of it. But I
yeah.
mean, I think Serbia are the highest ranked team out of that, and they're about 30 on in the world, and
Okay.
Latvia, Andorra, and Kosovo.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you're getting towards treble figures. So, I mean, does Tuchel does he experiment tactically? I mean, obviously he's got his way of playing that he wants to do, but he can afford to probably be a little bit, I'll say flexible, kind of in games like that, or is that too?
Yeah, no, I think do that in training, with a view to doing it in the game towards the end. Get the game won.
Yeah,
So be, which no doubt he will be, very thorough, forensic, professional. But without a shadow of a doubt, I think you're 100% right, and I would use it as a thing, a run of games to experiment, try
Yeah.
players out, players that maybe deserve it, but you're not sure about, and then their confidence should thrive in that environment. Um, Either that or he's going to stick with a tried and trusted. But I think it's time for a few to be phased out, like I said in the podcast after the last championship. People's time it has come now, and so it'd be interesting. They can use it to experiment players, formations, uh,
Yeah.
systems. Tactics, patterns of play, whatever you want to call them. They're all the same thing. Um, yeah, so it'd be interesting. But I don't see us having too much of it. But it sounds arrogant, but it's not presumptuous. No, it's not. It's just a professional fact and confidence. Shouldn't have too much
Like,
of a problem with any of them.
no, like you say, it's practically a buy. We should walk through it, and it'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to his first squad that he names. I don't think they start until probably next February, March. I don't think, without
Yeah,
checking. But yeah, it's fairly safe bet that England are going to be off to
I'll
the
be
USA.
interested to see. I'll be interested to see who the fullbacks are.
Yeah,
I've said as he gets older, it's going to be interesting. I don't see anyone Harry Kane's caliber, and like I've remarked in previous podcasts, if the loyalists that have been interested enough, if you look back, you'll see that I've said in the past. I think we're going to have a problem um, as players get old together, fullback areas, centre back, um, and centre forward. Um,
going to be quite a big problem
yeah, no, the Palace kid's acquitted
collectively.
himself well. He's been fantastic and a good, solid, steady performer. Ye. Um, Stone's still got some left in the tank, but he's starting to pick up more injuries now as he gets older, which you do.
Yeah,
Um, I think Kyle's come at the end of it, and I think that the fact that he's dropped off so far this year shows it.
yes,
Um, don't get me wrong, he's a very resilient, determined guy, and what appears to be a tough opponent. But there's no doubt about it. He's on the wane. Left back, we've had a problem for years because they've
yeah.
either been injury prone or we've been playing a right footed player at left back. I think we're not too bad in midfield. Um,
Well, I think that's definitely our
I,
strongest area. It's just
I
a
think
question of
before,
the
yeah,
right players.
what I would say is, I said it before the last championship. I think it's time for a new dawn, a new era. Um, and I would make the Real Madrid kid captain, Bellingham. I would have made him captain before the last championship.
Yeah,
But I'll most certainly make him captain before this championship. I think Harry's time has been and gone. Um, he's scoring. Don't get me wrong, he's still doing well in Germany, but um, yeah, I just think we might be struggling up front. And it might be a similar thing to Arsenal. With regards to what would then be in the Bank of England club and all the rest of it. Once Harry's gone, there's no real out and out focal point, centre forward, world class, guaranteed goals. Da, da, da. You get people who have blinding games or do a blinding turn and finish like Watkins did against Holland. Um, what I mean? Going back to the last championship, you might get that, but I'm on about on a consistent basis. I can't see him being caught now, Harry, in terms of record goal scorer and all the rest of it. So you're looking for someone like that to come through and take over um, the mantle to carry the baton.
yeah. Unfortunately, we are now right out of time on that note. So, like John said previously, we will try and do another one or two, probably one before Christmas, one in between Christmas and New Year with all the congestion of the fixtures. So
Yeah,
we'll be back soon,
yeah.
hopefully. Thanks again for watching all. Please continue.
All right, mate. Cheers for your time, Rob, and thanks everyone for watching. If we don't get a chance before, just to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a healthy, happy New Year. Hopefully we'll do another one before.
Yeah,
Thanks again,
that's
mate. Okay, thanks very much for giving up your time.
no
Speak
worries,
soon.
John.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
See ya.